We're also probably going to send this off to the manufacturer. We're going to show them pictures of the lifter. We're going to show them pictures of the camshaft. That is definitely scored. Bad news.
It's always a great day when the parts you've been waiting for finally show up. So the lifters that I've been waiting for so that I can get the old fat bottom grill back on the road have arrived. With them come instructions. We don't need those. Just kidding. I'll pick those up later if I can find them. Anyways, so last video we talked about taking the cam out, replacing the cam. But to be honest, we're Canadian. We live in Canada, and there's only about 6 weeks of the riding season left. And based on what we can see, the scoring on the cam is not too bad. Of course, it will be getting replaced in the spring, and we will certainly have a full video series on doing that. But in the interest of being able to ride for the last 6 weeks of what is available for us to do so, I'm just going to throw these new lifters in and just hope that the bike doesn't grenade. It shouldn't, but if it does, I have no one to blame but myself. But anyways, that's the story behind what we're about to do here. So we're going to put in the new lifters, put in the adjustable push rods, fire up the bike, and see how she sounds.
All right, Kevin. So what is first step then?
First step, well, we are going to unbox these. We're going to unwrap them. And then we are going to take this little oil can and we are going to pump them up and pump all the air out of them. Because these, of course, are hydraulic lifters. So there's a hole right here. So we're going to get right into that right now. So I'm just going to put this here.
So while you're doing that, some
make a mess.
Yeah, some people.
Oh, here we go. See the oil coming out the top. I've already pumped up this lifter. There's no more air bubbles coming out, so that's nice.
Some people will soak their lifters in like a, the can or the canning stuff that maybe your mom or your grandma used to can vegetables or something like that. They will fill it with oil. They will put the lifters in, and then they will pull all of the air out with a vacuum tube.
Right.
And then leave them for about 24 hours. Yeah, so they leave them about 24 hours and then they go and put them. But you saw a video with these lifters using that method that you just did.
And it worked very well.
And it works really well. So we do it that way.
So I'm just going to set these in, take that out. So when you're putting your lifter in, the lifter hole right here, that is where your bike will hydraulically pump up. That's the feed hole. So you want to make sure that that hole is facing the back side. There we go. So I'm going to go pump up the next one. So here, do you want to show them? I don't think we got a good shot of that. So the hole here, do your best. And that's all pumped up nicely.
Again, lining that hole up. So that hole will be facing the engine, right?
Facing in, yeah.
Yeah.
Then once those are in, you're going to put your retaining clip in. Make sure that those lifters stay square. They're not going anywhere. Okay.
So you can see that retaining clip right there. Now, why is one lifter higher than the other?
That's the cam lobe position inside the cam there.
So the lobe is up on that one, so
yeah,
pushing that lifter up.
That's right.
What are you doing there? Just removing the cover?
Yeah.
We just put those on so we didn't lose anything. So now do that a couple more times.
And then we'll get into getting the lifter covers back on.
Yeah.
Then we're going to show how to assemble a push rod inside of the push rod covers.
Right. All right. So we'll let you do that and I'll start working on those push rod covers. Okay. So I am going to show you how to disassemble this because you have to clean it and you have to reassemble it. So first thing you can do is just slide that off like that. Okay. Okay, so I've removed the push rod, right? And now you want to take this apart here. So you just pull that out like so. And this is empty. Now this, you can kind of see here, there's like a seal, right? So if you push down, that's going to come off. And I could actually feel a fair amount of grit, washer, and a O-ring, okay? And then inside of here, you have a spring, and that's it. So you want to get this all clean, no grit on it. Make sure you clean all these parts. When you're doing this the first time, you'll be replacing most of this stuff. Like this all comes in the replacement kit.
So a really handy gasket kit to order. I got this off of Amazon. This is called a cam replacement gasket kit, and it comes with absolutely everything you need in order to replace a cam.
What's the part number? Can you show me the backside of it?
I can show you the backside.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah, and it gives a list of everything that it comes with. So it comes with all of the O-rings that you need for your pushrod tubes and for the upper and the lower tubes to go into the engine case and then to into the cam covers. It also comes with your cam cover gaskets. It also comes with gaskets for your exhaust if you have to take your exhaust off. It comes with breather gaskets if you have to take your rocker boxes off, and it comes with rocker box gaskets as well. So it's really great, and I believe that this is, I think it's less than $100. So it's a great deal. Definitely recommend it. And here's all the gaskets that you need right here.
Okay, so I've got the replacement O-rings here laid out. I've got the dirty O-ring from this first one I disassembled laying there. Don't get those mixed up. Now, you want to clean this. We're just using some brake clean here. It's a good parts cleaner. The most important thing is that we are going to get it nice and clean, get all of any grit, debris, anything that's on the part, get that gone. I also only take one of these apart at a time because sometimes you forget how they go back together. And so if you've got these ones over here, then you've got the right order, okay? As I clean this off, you can actually feel the grime coming off. Nice clean rag here. And brake clean, parts cleaner, it evaporates pretty quickly. So it's not like you're going to have a lot of residual grease or anything on the part. So now that's nice and clean. And you can actually feel with your finger, like there's none of that gritty, grimy stuff that was just on there. So that's looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the rest of these parts. I'm actually not going to use parts cleaner on the pushrod, this adjustable pushrod. Instead, I'm just going to wipe that down. It's actually in pretty good shape. Okay, so those parts have all been wiped clean. Now I'll just take this pushrod, give that a nice wipe. Okay, so those parts are all clean now. And so now we can reassemble them. Okay, so this is the old O-ring. We want to get rid of that. Okay, so we start with this cap, and we're using Lucas Assembly Lube here. Just a little dab on the inside there, and making sure that all these parts just have that little bit of extra lubrication. Little extra lubrication never hurt, as they say. So yeah, so start with that cap, spring inside, right? Then we have the washer, right? And then we're going to have the O-ring. And like I said, if you can't remember, right, you've still got these other ones assembled. So you can kind of push that like that. You can take it all apart and you can remember exactly how to do it. So again, just going to take a little bit of assembly lube there. Get that on like so. Okay, this now is going to just slide on to there with the spring inside and with that washer right to the top. You can see you've got that on the top. Got that. Take our new O-ring, slide that on, okay? And then in this direction, right, with this at the bottom, okay? And that is going to slide down in there like so. Put a little assembly lube on this push rod. Voila, reassembled. So do that 3 more times. There you go, all 4 done.
So we were talking before about getting the residue from Loctite or something similar. So as you can see, these bolts for the covers for the lifters have some residual. So I'm just going to fire up the wire brush. I'm going to go through and clean all these up, and then they'll be ready for installation. So as you can see, those are nicely cleaned up and ready to go. Now, if you don't have one of these, you can get a nice little wire brush, brass wire brush, and it'll be just as effective. Obviously, it's just a little bit more time consuming. So we are getting ready to reinstall the tappet covers, or the tappet covers, or the lifter covers. So first thing we want to do is make sure the area is clean. Then we're going to take our gaskets. Now these gaskets are flippable, so you have to make sure that these two right here, when you install the gasket, that they cover the pin that holds the lifters in place. That's the proper direction. You certainly do not want, if I was to install it over here on this side, it actually covers over top of the lifter itself. You want it to cover the retaining rod. We're just going to set those gaskets in place. Now, with your cover, these are angled. So you definitely want to make sure that these are on the right side. So what you do is you just take a look and you envision your tube little dab of Loctite. Wow, a little dab for sure. I think we're out. There we go. Okay. We're just going to get these started by hand. I'll just show you the installation of this one, and then you can just do the exact same thing on the other side. So I've got a 3/16 Allen key with a ball on the end. I would definitely recommend getting a set with the balls on the end.
Gotta have the balls.
You gotta have, because it just makes jobs like this so much easier, way less tedious because you can do things on an angle. And you certainly can't get your Allen key in here straight. So as you can see, I'm able just to twist that down nicely. Now the torque spec on these is 85 to 105 inch-pounds. So we're just gonna tighten these down by hand in a crisscross pattern, just to set that gasket nicely. And then I'm going to get the torque wrench on there and try and torque these up.
Inch pounds, not foot pounds, right?
Pounds, yeah. So these these ones in the back, it's going to be virtually impossible to get a torque wrench in there. So basically, use good judgment. Don't over tighten it. So I'm just going to tighten these down.
Now, one of the tricks that we use when you're only able to torque, like in this case, you're going to be able to torque the fronts, no problem, but the backs are going to be a challenge. Once you get the one torque, you can kind of feel with your hand how tight it is. And then you want to replicate that the best of your ability. It's not a perfect system, but we have found it to work. Again,
just based by feel.
Yeah, based by feel, yeah. And use your own judgment.
You don't have to just tighten these down super hard.
3 uggas is not necessary.
Yeah. 100 inch-pounds is not a lot. The leverage that you get on your Allen key, depending how long it is going to be sufficient by hand.
Okay, so I'll let you complete those and then we'll show them torquing it down. Okay, so you got those done. So here, just move your hands out of the way, Kev. I'm just going to show them. So you got the rear one installed with that gasket. You've got the front one installed. Everything is by hand at this point, and now we're going to torque what we can and get this thing ready to go.
So we've set our torque wrench. So the torque specs are from 85 to 105 inch-pounds. So I set this to 95. I always kind of go halfway. And we've got a 3/16 ball Allen here. So I'm going to try and get this rear one torqued down an angle here. So we'll see.
There we go. As you can see, it can be a pain.
And a crisscross pattern. We'll come up here to the front.
You're doing the rear.
Yeah.
And now, because it's crisscross, you do the front opposite side, correct?
Yeah. Holy. There we go.
The struggle is real.
Okay. Now, if you didn't have ball Allens, you wouldn't be able to torque.
And you have to do it by hand, which we've done in the past. So he starts at the back, crisscross to the front. Now he's going to go to the rear, and then he'll crisscross to the opposite front. Make sure you get that Allen down in there nice.
I'm going to have to do that one by hand.
Yeah, see? Because if you're not, you'll strip it. Okay. Torqued, so we just couldn't get that back one and the front. So now, this is what we mean about doing it by hand. You know, you're just going to kind of do it by feel.
I got pretty close, so
yeah.
There we go. That's it. Okay.
So that is that. Those are done.
Okay. So the next step, now, there's 2 different size gaskets.
Okay.
You got the skinny big one,
yeah,
and you got the smaller, thicker one. This one goes to the 2 sides on the upper side. These ones go in here, right in here in the covers.
Yeah.
Now, make sure, first of all, you're going to lubricate these with either assembly lube or with engine oil. Secondly, make sure that you do not drop them inside the cam chest, or else you're going to have to take everything all apart.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to lubricate these a little bit.
And they just sit on top.
They just sit
right there. Is he just sitting there?
Yeah.
So do that for all 4. Okay, so you can see there's no O-ring.
So I'm just gonna.
That's the fatter one, right?
This is the fatter one.
And you put some assembly lube oil on it?
I sure did. So it's just by feel. You want to make sure that you feel around, make sure that it's seated in there nicely, and it'll stay there by itself.
And that's what it looks like when. Let's see if I can get the camera in there.
Yeah, you can
right
see
there.
It. Perfect. All right, now we're ready for the push tube. The install. So before you install your tubes, and your adjustable push rods, you want to make sure that you're in top dead center. So if you guys remember when we disassembled this, we finished with the front cylinder, so we know that we're in top dead center on the front cylinder. And so that's where we're going to start so that we don't have to rotate the engine. But once we get to the rear, we'll rotate the back tire in 6th gear and make sure that it's in top dead center so we can install these rears.
Yeah, so we're going to show you how to do the first one, and then you just repeat the process 3 more times. So there's our little elastic clip that we use for disassembly.
Now, if you notice, there's these metal bands here and here. One of them is thicker and one of them is thinner.
Yeah.
Take a real good look. If you look right there, you can see the difference. Now, the thicker one goes to the exhaust and the thinner goes to the intake.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to do the intake port first, because that's the one that goes to the back side. And then this one here goes to the front side, which is our exhaust port. So I'm going to make sure that I use the push rod that has the thin band.
The thin band where?
Goes to the intake side.
Goes to the intake side. Okay.
Okay. So this is where you want to have yourself some assembly lube. It's certainly more preferable than just using engine oil because it's thicker. It's like snot. And it's going to stay put until you have your engine ready to start. So we're going to put a little assembly lube there. This goes up to the rocker. So this is the intake. We're just going to slip this up in there. So I'm going to install this here to keep that out of the way. And I'm going to let this drop down.
You're just adjusting it down, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to start screwing this down.
It's the opposite of what we did to take it out.
Yeah.
And how do you know when it's down far enough, Kevin?
You'll feel it hit the top of the lifter,
right,
and you won't be able to screw it down anymore. But I'm just going to screw this down just like this. So when you're doing that, you want to make sure you keep this lock nut, right? You want to hold that. You don't want that sliding down like we did last time.
Mm-hmm.
So this might seem like a tedious process, but it's a lot better than having to take your gas tank off, take your rocker covers off, and that whole process. So getting adjustable push rods is definitely worth it. All right, so I have reached the bottom now, and I cannot move this up or down. So that one is set in place. So this is when it's necessary to have a paint pen available. So we've got our push rod down to the lifter, and it's up tight on the rocker, so it doesn't move up or down at all. So I have a 1/4 inch wrench that I'm going to need to hold on to the push rod itself. Now I'm going to mark the face of the nut. Now with these hydraulic lifters, these are full travel lifters, so they have 200 thousandths of movement, and we want to set this lifter halfway through its movement, which is 100 thou approximately. And so I believe it's 32 threads per inch on these specific push rods, which is very common with the quickie push rods. So we're going to turn this now 3.5 full turns, and that will give us approximately 90 to 100 thou of movement in that lifter. So that's why we've got that marked off so we can see the face. So we're just going to bring it all the way back around.
So when you see that white mark, that's
so
one.
That's one almost.
That's 2 coming up. Now we're at 3.
Now that's 3. So we're just going to turn that. That's about 3.5. So once you've done that, you bring this lock nut up.
That's a 7/16 wrench.
Right. So now kind of have to use all 3 wrenches here. I'm just gonna turn
So
that.
quarter on the push rod, 7/16 on the lock nut, and 7/16 on the top of the push rod.
Right. So we want to lock it in place.
And you don't need to put a real big snipe on that. If you do, it can jump threads and it will be bad. There you go.
So I think that's probably good. Okay. So now this one is done and it has no movement. And because it wasn't hydraulically pumped up by the engine, I can still rotate it.
Right.
Right. So sometimes if you're working on one that has been pumped up by the engine, then you won't be able to turn it by hand. It'll be too tight. So you'll have to wait for it to decompress.
Right.
Before you can move on to the next push rod. But seeing as this is done, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this off. And I'm going to slide down the bottom portion. Ooh, look at that. One of those come up. We're going to take care of that.
The O-ring followed?
Of this one, yeah.
Yeah, it popped out.
We're going to push that one down. And I'm going to take this top tube. I'll probably need a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to pump that up and we're going to get that seated in that O-ring up top there. So I'm going to just get a flathead and I'm just gently going to press on this.
Just on the back side of that
there.
flange.
And you'll be able to feel when it seats itself.
Yeah.
It just popped right in.
It even made a little popping sound.
Okay, so then we're going to take one of our covers. You can use a flathead screwdriver again. We're going to put the cover up top. You can use a flathead as leverage. Pry down and push in. And there you go. You're all set.
And that took like 4 tries.
Yeah, but the last try made it look so simple, didn't it? Now we're all set and we're ready to install this front one. So we're just getting ready to install this exhaust port side push rod. We've liberally applied some assembly lube and we're just going to repeat
the exact same process, right?
Same process that we just did.
And then you'll do it the same for the rear. Get the rear cylinder to top dead center and repeat it again.
Correct.
All right, we'll be back when work is done.
So we've finished with the front. These ones are installed. We're just going to get ready to start doing the rear. We have gone to top dead center on this side. Jamie rotated the tire. We went through 2 cycles to make sure that we're on the right stroke. And now we're just going to do the exact same process that we did on the fronts here with the rear. So we're going to start with the rear. This time, this one's going to be the intake. So we're going to make sure that we use the thin band rod. And we're going to put assembly lube here.
And then just follow the exact same process.
All right, so we have successfully reinstalled our push rod tubes, and our lifters. And now we are going to reinstall the air filter. Then we're going to put the oil back, make sure that we've tightened up the drainage plug, and then we're going to fire this baby up and see how she sounds. And if you remember when we fired it up for you last time, she had a pretty bad squeal to her. So hopefully that's gone. Like we said before, we put a little bit of Loctite on everything. So if you look here, you can see a little bit of Loctite residue.
Mm-hmm.
See that?
Oh, yeah.
So we definitely want to pull that out on both sides because we don't want that to get pushed in there. Because if you keep doing that over time, you're going to damage the threads. So these look pretty clean, so we don't have to run them through the brush. And I'll just Yeah, Loctite on there. Little dab will do ya. You don't need a whole bunch.
What's that on those? Oh,
This
Phillips.
looks like a Phillips.
Pretty exciting. This is where my juices get going because, like, you find out something's broken, you feel real sad, maybe even a little angry, and then you dig into it, and it's worse than you thought. So then you really start to feel the feelings.
Depression, actually.
Yeah, and then you get the parts, and then you get a little bit of excitement, but then there's a bunch of work to do, and then you get to this moment where you're literally just about ready to wrap it up, and you know you're going to be riding very, very soon, and that's when it gets really exciting.
So we're ready to do the fill. So we've got our funnel. Again, I like using AMSOIL products. We got 20W50, and it's 2.8 liters, so 3 quarts.
And just so you know, the drain plug torque spec is 14 to 21 foot-pounds of torque. So just make sure you got that torque correctly. Glug, glug, glug.
Good stuff.
She's a thirsty girl. Okay, so we overfilled the tank. And so we've got this plunger that we use to both put in and extract fluid. Works great. So we overfilled it. Just going to dump that in there and double check the level. If you overfill your oil tank, you will create pressure. It'll blow your cover off, and then there will be oil all over the place there, and you don't want that.
Should be right around here somewhere. You know, a good inch below the weld on your cap.
The nice thing with the Softails is it's very visual. You can just look inside and see.
You got to remember, this is a reservoir tank. The oil that is in the engine is already there. So this is just your reserve, right? So you definitely don't want it to be low. These are your returns. And this here is what feeds your engine down here. But you don't have to be right up to the top here. So we're ready to install the spark plugs. So before we install them, these are used. They don't have a lot of kilometers on them, but we're just going to take a look, and that looks pretty good. It's definitely not running rich, that's for sure. So you're looking, perfection is like a chocolatey brown on the electrode. So Harley-Davidson suggests putting a little bit of engine oil on your threads when you install them.
Make sure it goes in nice and smooth.
Now the thing with spark plugs is you don't have to torque them down real hard.
You don't want to strip the threads, man.
No, you put them in hand tight. That's it. That's all you need.
Yep, and you put those fat wires on.
Put our Screaming Eagle fatties. Now, contrary to popular belief, these Screaming Eagle fatties do not increase horsepower. They don't increase performance. The wire on the inside is exactly the same diameter as the wire on the stock. The only difference is the thickness of the shroud. And so the thickness of this shroud helps with electronic interference. And so your ECM is better able to read what's happening with your spark. That's the only benefit. Plus, I mean, let's be honest, they look pretty sweet. Boom. Ready for startup. So we're going to get it off the list, take it outside, and fire it up.
Well, here we go.
Well, pumped up by oil because they're hydraulic. That went away right away. So the squeal is gone. Sounds good. She's purring away like a kitten. So I can't wait to take her for a ride. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll see you later.